So I've been seeing a lot of videos about people arguing over whether you can bench 315, if it matters if you can bench 315 versus looking good, having abs, being able to go on the beach, so on and stuff like that, right? And it made me want to make this video. That was my inspiration for this video. My question to you is, can you do both? I hope you know that. I hope you know you can do both, right? So the topic of this video is it better to look good or be strong? Let go. Now, you can do both. You can look good, have abs, have definition, have the size you desire or whatever, because, which is the same thing as definition, I just said that. And you can be strong. You can bench 315. You can squat over 400 to 500 pounds. You can deadlift 600 pounds. You can do all of that stuff while maintaining a decently shredded physique. It's possible. Ask me how I know, right? Now, this isn't me glazing myself. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I can bench 315, I can squat 400 pounds, and I can deadlift over 500 pounds. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I think I do pretty well for myself. But this ain't a glaze session for me. This ain't a glaze session for me. But you look around the internet and you can see multiple examples of why both are achievable, okay? Now, to the young guy in the video, you look young, right? And this is no shade, but I can just attest to what I was like when I was younger. When I was about 19 or 20 years old, I worked for Abercrombie & Fitch, and my whole goal was just to be shredded, just sliced up, right? That's all I cared about. I didn't care about having jacked arms. I didn't care about having a swole chest, deltoids. I didn't care about none of that. All I cared about was this here. All right? That didn't matter to me. I was also 19, 20 years old, whatever, however old I was. I was 18, 19. As I got older, I realized that putting on size while maintaining definition was the true goal, right? And along the way, I ended up getting stronger. You know, learning the proper lifting technique, progressive overload, training for strength specifically. And just kind of, you know, you have goals to achieve, right? So I just, you know, I ended up putting 315 on the bench. I think my max now is 325, but like I ended up putting that on the bench and hitting it, and it was a vibe. Let me tell you that, bro. I ain't never, let's go harder in my life, bro. No, well, I've done it harder than that, but hey, yo. Anyway, another thing that he said in the video is nobody cares if you bench 315. Who are you talking to? Don't speak for everybody. I don't know a single male who is interested in fitness at all in the gym that would not want to bench 315 if given the chance. No shade once again to this creator, but you're saying that because you can't do it. I think as you progress up the ladder of benchmarks, try and say that 5 times fast. Anyway, once you progress up that ladder of bench press benchmarks, 315 is up there. You're gonna wanna bench 315, my guy. That is like, it's not the pinnacle, right? Because obviously there's a bunch of weight, like you can go all the way up, but for somebody that's not a power lifter, and then also somebody that's not super big, like, right? Like an average height to slightly above average height guy like myself, I only weigh about 180, 185 pounds. So to bench 315 is actually crazy at my height, my size, my stature. Obviously there's guys that are 6'5", 260, 270. That's cakewalk for them. We're not talking about y'all. Y'all should be shooting for 415. Or 405. But you know what I'm saying? Like, don't say that nobody cares. I can't stand that. Nobody cares if you can bench 315. Cap. Bullshit. Bullshit. People care. You walk past somebody who's got 315 on the bench, and every man, obviously, maybe women don't care as much, but also, but you walk past somebody who's got 315 on the bar, and you go, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? They do the thing right here, they go, right? So I don't want to hear all that. That's kind of crazy to say. Having abs is great, right? But training your core is necessary to be strong, to be able to bench, squat, and deadlift a crap ton of weight, right? I just don't like, the notion that we're trying to pretend like being strong isn't something that is a sign of health, right? Being strong, and let's just lump everything together, like benching 315, squatting 400 or 500 pounds, deadlifting 500-600 pounds. Although it doesn't directly translate to being a protector, you definitely, it's almost like it's somewhere in the prerequisites, right? You know, nowadays there's all kinds of, we're getting on a tangent, nobody cares. But being strong is definitely necessary to be a protector, right? If, you know, you young fella, right? As a man, that's something that's gonna change within the next 10 years. You're gonna want to protect your family. So train like you should, not just do crunches all day in the gym and just be shredded, but you ain't got no arms, you don't have no shoulders, you don't look the part, bro. Also, nowadays, if you listen to anybody on social media, there are specific muscles. If we're talking about looking attractive, right? Let's talk about looking attractive for a real quick second. There are specific muscles that on average make you look more attractive. Abs are actually low on the totem pole. Right now, what's popping, right? Do the kids say that? Popping? Nah, whatever. What's popping right now are deltoids. Deltoids, nice back, chest even, traps even. All of these things are now deemed more attractive than just your abs, right? If you have a nice set of abs with all this stuff, you're good. Hell, I even saw a video of a girl that was like, if you have abs, ugh, like, right, it's an ick for her, which is crazy to say. That's crazy to say, right? Insane to say, but that just goes to show you that that's what we're dealing with nowadays. So young fella, also, I think you're wrong for that one too. All you need to do is focus on your diet, right? If you want to keep your abs, but also train like a bodybuilder, if you will. You can train however the hell you want, man. Do some powerlifting training for a little while. You'll get bigger and stronger. Focus on your diet, still train your core, and you'll still have your abs. I've had abs since I was 18, 19 years old. I'm 30, almost 34 in a couple weeks. You can do this. Here we go now. Like, it's possible. You don't need to try to single one thing out. It's just not one or the other, right? And then there's people on the other side of the spectrum, right? And I'm about to get on them right now. Just because, if you're a, man, I'm not trying to put nobody down, right? But if you're a big old butterball, right? And you can bench a whole lot of weight, quit crapping on kids that are smaller than you, that don't bench as much as you, but they also look better than you, right? Like, it's almost like there's people on each side of the spectrum and nobody wants to be here in the middle, right? There's this big general thing right here where people that are a little weaker here but are shredded and look aesthetic, but they can lift a decent amount. And there's people on the other side who don't have as much abs, but they do have a very defined physique and they can bench, squat, deadlift a lot of weight. And then you got your people on the outside of that who are just butterballs, and then you got your people on the other side who are just super skinny. My camera's gonna die. I might have a little bit of time, but all that to say, you can do both. So the guy in the video, man, shout out to your video, but I think you're wrong. Anybody who wants to do both, focus on progressive overload and focus on your diet, guys. That's all I got for today. I'll see you on the next one. Please subscribe, like, comment down below. Let's chop it up in the comments, man. I mess with y'all the long way. Peace.